You know what's the best way to make a popular video? Do it on a popular topic. You know what's the best way to make a not popular video? Do it on a topic everyone's heard about already for months now, and it's just super depressing to hear about it now. So anyways, AI certainly is a big cultural element right now, isn't it? As you probably know, recent developments in AI technology, or like what they're calling AI, we all know it's not really AI, but we're gonna just ignore that, have made it super accessible for ordinary people to access. You can write a story, make a painting in any style, or get an answer to any question you can think of at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep just by typing it out and asking a chatbot. But to call it controversial is an understatement. There was a sense of innocence with it at the beginning, when people would use AI to make barely comprehensible pictures of Goku at the Nuremberg trials. But people really quickly realized the downsides of it. The absolutely abysmal amounts of plagiarism as an example. But there are still many people who see AI as the future of content development, and AI image or story development technology has slowly crept its way into more and more media. It's a debate with an important place in culture, and I can see it being very important to our future. Which brings us to fighting games. Fighting games are a genre that's very hard for people to actually develop. Mostly because how complicated actual AI is to program. But those rosters? The amount of characters they include in those games? That's for the people. It's super popular for fans to make roster ideas for new entries in their favorite fighting games, and anyone can do it. I myself have made a few videos on it, and it's something my most popular video by far was based on. You only need to look at how imbalanced the video's watch count and quality of the video is to see how popular the subject is, by the way. I'm not even saying that to be self-deprecating. It's just objectively true. This is not a 43,000 view video. It's a thing built in real passion for fans to bring together a bunch of different characters, and the roster is arguably the most important part of every new fighting game. It's a thing everyone looks at first. Which is why, if AI is going to rule video games, it needs to beat it. It needs to prove it's better than anything a human could come up with. And my chosen battleground will be Super Smash Bros. Smash is easily the game I see the most speculation on the roster of, and I think it's an excellent place for the fight for humanity's future to be fought. Guys, is the scope of this video a little too big? Maybe? So, I'll generate an AI roster using ChatGPT 3.5, the most recent free version of ChatGPT, and then make my own roster, and we'll see whose version is the superior one. Here's what the machines had to cook up for me. Now, the first version ChatGPT generated isn't the one I'm gonna go with. I didn't think it was interesting at all, and wouldn't even really be fun to look at. There were some funny mistakes though. Crash Bandicoot was listed twice, and there was this silly thing where the protagonist of Hollow Knight was called the Hollow Knight, and the protagonist of Celeste was called the Knight. I'm not gonna hold that against them, it's just like a silly bit of human error. Wait. Also, I did attempt to have this picture created using AI, that is Dolly, and I attempted to generate the image, but it didn't go well. Mabo Salis Toof 10 Supermates. Also, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, or whoever, appears to be a playable character. So I asked for a roster number, and they gave me a number of about 90 to 100. And I asked how many of that characters should be veterans, and they gave me 56. So we're getting a roster with 100 characters, with a little more than half being veterans. Except that's not actually what the roster generated, but let's ignore that. Here's our full roster. Mario, Luigi, Donkey Kong, Peach, Bowser, Diddy Kong, Mario, Rosalina, Yoshi, Bowser Jr., Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, Young Link, Sheik, Toon Link, Kirby, Meta Knight, King Dedede, Ness, Lucas, Captain Falcon, Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Mewtwo, Pichu, Pokemon Trainer, Lucario, Greninja, Samus, Zero Suit Samus, Pit, Dark Pit, Palutena, Fox, Falco, Wolf, Ice Climbers, Mr. Game & Watch, Snake, Sonic, Marth, Roy, Olimar, Rob, Villager, Mega Man, Wii Fit Trainer, Little Mac, Pac-Man, Ike, Robin, Wario, Shulk, Duck Hunt, Ryu, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Sora, Rayman, Master Chief, Dante, Geralt of Rivia, Steve, Tracer, Ezio, Aloy, Cuphead, The Knight, 2B, Jin Kazuma, Sephiroth, Phoenix Wright, Amaterasu, Travis Touchdown, Bayonetta, Beautiful Joe, Earthworm Jim, Bomberman, Shantae, Simon, Alucard, Trevor, Cooking Mama, Layton, Isaac, Ragna, Lloyd, Yuri, Hat Kid, Chell, GLaDOS, Mugman, Ori, Battletoads, Alan Wake, Max Payne, Doomslayer, Senua, and Wander. Yeah, that was a little weird. Let's talk about it. Here are a few of my thoughts on this roster. So, the lack of any new characters for the Nintendo series was really weird. It's just weird. I guess ChatGPT's interpretation of unusual characters is to not have anything from Nintendo. I guess I could have asked them to be more precise and included more Nintendo characters, but what's done is done. For some reason, Inkling is cut. Okay, sure, Inkling. I guess some cuts are fair. I should be fair to this game. This hypothetical game, whatever I'm gonna call it. I think, like, Incineroar, that was a fair cut, but Inkling? Really? So, the 4 Fire Emblem characters are Marth, Roy, Ike, and Robin. And that seems like a weird balance to me. Fire Emblem in Smash seems like it's trying to distance itself from characters who just use swords. So I don't really feel like they would just keep Marth, Roy, and Ike if there was only like 4. But again, that's just a subjective thing. I don't know what Smash is actually going to do. Actually, Castlevania is one of the few series that even has a new character addition at all. And I think both Alucard and Trevor are good additions. Thanks to Castlevania Nocturne, Trevor is no longer a shill pick anymore. But Castlevania, of all things, getting 2 new characters, and something like Sonic not getting any more? Yeah, that was a little odd to me. Sephiroth, but no Cloud? That's unironically based. Replacing Kazuya with Jin Kazuma was also an interesting choice, which wasn't actually really a choice. I am completely unaware as to if the AI knows Geralt doesn't come from a video game. I'm almost certain they'll say, sorry for that mistake, or some BS if I ask, but I wouldn't be surprised if the AI genuinely had this perception that Geralt was actually from a video game. If I confront the AI on any decision, it'll just act super spotless anyway, so who can tell for sure. The Tales series is another that's got 2 fighters, Lloyd from Symphonia and Yuri from Vesperia. I don't know if this series is entirely deserving of 2 fighters when Dragon Quest is not even in their roster at all, but I'm certain these 2 characters were just both added because there's some debate on which Tales character should be in first. Aloy and Wander could be fine first Sony characters on their own, but both of them being in feels weird. Some more variety in that department would have been appreciated. I'd say this roster actually does have some fun, unexpected characters, and some that make sense and are pretty heavily requested. Doomslayer, Bomberman, and Dante are requested characters who I like. Max Payne, Ori, and Chell are lesser request characters I think are also still nice. I guess it could be worse. Even so, there's a sort of lack of synergy with these characters, if that makes sense, and adding no new Nintendo characters besides Isaac, yeah, that makes it feel weird. It's an extremely bizarre roster with some choices. that would feel interesting if a human being actually made them. I would be willing to hear out an argument for why Ragna should be in over Soul Bad Guy, but that argument does not exist because the thing that makes this roster is unthinking. So analyzing it is kind of an exercise in futility. Like, I could ask the AI why Captain Underpants isn't on the roster, and they'll just instantly add him, no questions asked. This whole thing is stupid. But of course, I can't give up on this battle yet. I got a roster to make. As we remember, the AI added 100 characters, with 56 veterans and 44 new characters. So that's going to be the amount of characters I add. I also noticed there was an emphasis on third-party characters, which are non-Nintendo characters, and a lot of some weirder picks. Adding Sony and Xbox characters will definitely be a necessity as well, so I'll take that info into account as I make my roster. So my first order of business is gonna be to make some cuts. I'm gonna just treat Echo Fighters as if their own characters, since that's what ChatGPT seems to do as well. It's weird. Obviously, their edition has a different weight than an actual fully fledged character edition, but this whole situation's weird anyways. I will also treat Pokemon Trainer like one roster slot. So there's 30 characters I'll need to cut. Here are my own personal choices. Bowser Jr., Chrom, Cloud, Corrin, Dark Pit, Dark Samus, Ike, Incineroar, Joker, Kazuya, Ken, Lucario, Lucas, Lucina, Mega Man, Mii Brawler, Mii Gunner, Mii Sword Fighter, Min, Mithra, Palutena, Pichu, Piranha Plant, Pyra, Rob, Richter, Rosalina, Wii Fit Trainer, Wolf, and Young Link. So there's 30 characters I'm cutting, and yes, that was plagued by bias. I mean, Terry coming back but no Kazuya? Dr. Mario's still here? Come on. No, but seriously, I do have reasons for these, which I won't really go over for pacing reasons, but I don't think these decisions are just bias. They are bias, though. I also think cutting some of the Echo Fighters is a bit of a cop-out, but again, you know why I did it. Let's ignore that for now. I'm just in this to have fun, and it's kind of impossible to make a roster that doesn't have some bias. I mean, everyone making these is human, right? Wait. I guess my point is, don't get too mad at my roster, which wasn't made with too much thought, and kind of on a whim, a stream of consciousness. Don't take it too seriously. For my roster, I won't really have the time to explain each pick too in-depth, because that would make the video like an hour and would focus too much on something that's not really the focus, so feel free to ask about any newcomer if you're curious. My 44 newcomers are gonna be Waluigi from Mario, Geno from Mario, Cranky Kong from Donkey Kong, Ashley from WarioWare, Corvi Knight from Pokemon, the Happy Mask Salesman from Zelda, Ravenbeak from Metroid, Megalore from Kirby, Kumatora from Mother, Tom Nook from Animal Crossing, Noah from Xenoblade Chronicles, Ring Fit Adventurer from Ring Fit Adventure, Saki from Sin and Punishment, Isaac from Golden Sun, Dr. Eggman from Sonic, Tails from Sonic, Space Harrier from Space Harrier, Kiryu Kazuma from Yakuza, Chun-Li from Street Fighter, Zero from Mega Man X, Dante from the... I'm not gonna make that joke, you know what? No, I'm better than this. Jill from Resident Evil, Liquid Snake from Metal Gear, Alucard from Castlevania, Terra from Final Fantasy, 2B from Nier, King from Tekken, Arthur from Red Dead Redemption, Avatar from Ultima, Master Chief from Halo, Arbiter from Halo, Falgor from Killer Instinct, Doomslayer from Doom, Crash from Crash Bandicoot, Kratos from God of War, Ratchet and Clank from Ratchet and Clank, Ellie from The Last of Us, Wander from Shadow of the Colossus, Rayman from Rayman, Edward Kenway from Assassin's Creed, Shovel Knight, Cuphead, Celeste from Cadence of Hyrule, and Peppino from Pizza Tower. Again, not a perfect roster whatsoever, and there probably are some really obvious characters I forgot, but it's my imperfect roster, and I say it's good enough to compete with. Also, look at the visualization of the roster I made. I forgot one character. I'm sure someone can point out which character I forgot, but there are a different... You know what? I'm going by the principle if I forgot about them, they're not important enough to remember, so I added one more character. That's Meat Boy. And now, we battle. I needed a non-biased source, so I decided to ask people in my friend's Discord server. I did not tell them which was a human, which was an AI. I did not even tell them what this was for. But unbeknownst to them, their feedback is going to shape the future of entertainment forever. Let's see their opinion. Okay, well, I posted that on my Discord server at like 1 a.m. So I'm gonna go to sleep. We'll see what happens in the morning. Second. I'd go with the second personally. Smiley face. I don't think this should come as a surprise at all. I mean, the AI generated one is just not that great. Even ChatGPT says my roster is better. Since both rosters serve different purposes and cater to different tastes, it's challenging to make a subjective judgment. However, I can acknowledge that your roster may resonate more with fans of... I didn't even show my roster to you. What the fuck? I didn't have Bubsy. What are you even talking about? Bubsy? So yes, consider this a glorious day. Humanity has won. My roster is definitely the unquestionably, objectively better roster, and I didn't even have to add Captain Underpants. I hope we all understand why the AI wasn't as good. It lacks a human touch, it doesn't always understand why characters are even there in the first place. AI chatbots basically exist to gather data all over the internet. So they just look at every roster someone's made and think of all the little characters and just smash them together with no regard for the cohesion of a roster. I don't like it, and people seem to agree. And I know I joked about the whole plagiarism thing, that AI can sometimes plagiarize, but I have seen first-hand accounts of an AI chatbot literally just ripping off an entire paragraph from an essay. If there's a topic that not a lot of people have talked about or written essays on, it sometimes won't have that much data to pull from and will just steal things. We've all seen H-Bomber Guy, okay? We're all mature here. And the things AI does and the lack of repercussions is pretty bad. Even if we are just using it to have some dumb fun here, we can still acknowledge that. And if we look at this whole thing and just say, yeah, AI wasn't as good, that's kind of missing the point. This video was just a dumb look at a not very topical subject. But the idea actually of an AI actually generating a roster like this is kind of bad. It's kind of scary, and it's a little concerning how similar this roster really is to some already existing rosters and their mindsets. This bizarre ghoul zombie roster was a result of looking at every single idea of the internet and throwing them together without considering where they come from and why. It's to maximize enjoyment and profitability and to never challenge itself. This could very well happen without an AI, as higher-ups decide what characters need to stay. I know I sound super preachy right now, but I don't actually think that's too big of a problem yet. Smash still includes a lot of unexpected characters, that continue to push the boundary of what a Smash fighter can be. I mean, Terry was like the best newcomer to Smash in a very, very long time, and I absolutely love the fact that he's in the game, which is why I didn't cut him. And other fighting game series still manage to include lots of interesting new characters, but sometimes I feel it drying up just a little as the rosters try to appeal to the masses. Like, did Tekken 8 need that many returning characters? I just want some creativity in my game's rosters, and I don't really want to see roster decisions made on autopilot. I'll put it this way. Almost every character on the roster of the Street Fighter 3 games have become super beloved afterwards, because those games did something super weird, and continued with that strangeness even if it wasn't received the best at the time. I'm not saying to go as extreme as that game did, only have like 4 characters return, but weirdness and just a human touch in rosters is something to be valued forever. And a committee does not make decisions like a human does, so it isn't human. And also some of the people on that committee probably aren't even human. I don't even know what the fuck goes on in those places. In conclusion, Dr. Mario should stay in Smash. You just got Dr. Mario'd. Take that! Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bubsy? I didn't have Bubsy. What? Okay, no. I know my rod. Okay. Look, I know my laughter can sound not natural. I know my voice kind of doesn't sound... I know I don't always sound the most natural, but I can assure you. The fact that they just made up Bubsy. Oh my god. There's tears in... Why Bubs? There's tears in my eyes. Like, maybe I'm sure I talked to them about Bubsy at one point. Like, so I don't think this is coming out of... But... It's the... Holy shit. This video is so terrible. My cat. Okay, he's... Like, the door's open. He just doesn't want to... He just doesn't want to, like, push the door open with this little paw. He's just too lazy. So he just left.